The Golden Knights are set to entertain the New York Islanders at T-Mobile Arena tonight. Our preview of the matchup comes your way next, right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply. What time is it, Golick?
Game time.
First of all, let's talk about the situation in LA, in the Southern California area, and all those fires. And of course, our hearts go out to everyone there. And of course, all of our local firefighters are there in the Southern California area. So please return home safely. And to Locked On LA Kings and to all the folks down there, the Kings game postponed last night. A lot of my friends evacuated, Chris, and some folks lost some things and houses and just devastation there in the Southern California area. I don't know if you want to add anything to that. I mean, sad.
Nothing to add. Just stay safe and get out and do what you can. And I guess it's tough, but everything's replaceable, but not your life, right? So get out of there, let everyone do their job, and hopefully can get under control, because it doesn't look like anything's changing too much right now.
Yeah, very much a gut-wrenching situation. Speaking to a couple of friends yesterday in that area, evacuated and what have you. So, oh boy, it's been a tough one there for our good friends in Southern Cal. So VGK, they play an inconsistent New York Islanders game tonight, a team in the game tonight at the Fortress. The Isles are in last place in the Metro Division. They cannot hold on to leads, typically good for 40 minutes. And this is a team that has very poor special teams, only 11%, Chris, on the power play, and too slow on the penalty kill. This is a tailor-made opponent tonight for VGK.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point, right? Golden Knights, they do okay in the first and second. They've been known to turn on in the third. Islanders, first 40 minutes, a little rough. And then, so maybe try betting the other side in the first period or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's the betting angle. I don't like betting periods, but that's what some people like to do. So maybe that's the angle. Islanders are weird, right? Weird East Coast hockey style, weird, just slow the game down, keep things slow through the neutral zone. You got Patrick Waugh coaching now, so if they're down late, they're going to pull the goalie with about 7 minutes left in the third, and they're going to take a chance. And what gets me a little bit is when you look at their game logs here, you got a lot of win, loss, win, loss. But some of the teams they've beaten, like they beat Carolina, they beat Ottawa,
they just beat Boston.
They beat Toronto, Pittsburgh, who's been playing a little better. And then they just beat Boston, overtime win, but they just beat Boston. So I point that out because they've beaten some okay teams recently. And the other side of this game, they played in Boston on the 5th, so a few days ago. 3 full calendar days off. They've probably been in Vegas at least since yesterday. And,
no, they were at home. They were practicing. Yeah, I checked on that. They were back at home practicing, and then probably
they were in New York yesterday and flew out like in the afternoon.
Yeah, yesterday I think they came out. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Still,
it's not New Year's Eve here.
And some practice and all that. What's that?
It's not New Year's Eve weekend.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. But they've had some time to practice, and they'll be ready for this game. They will be ready for this game tonight.
So you were just speaking about Patrick Waugh and empty nets, an all-timer here. So he did pull his goalie, Chris, during a defensive zone draw while shorthanded, and they gave up that. That was against Toronto, and they gave up a goal to the former Isle, John Tavares, an empty net goal. And this is the same. I know. What a gamble. And then, so you might want to pick William Karlsson tonight to get an ENG. And then, happy birthday, by the way, to Lars. Happy birthday. Thank you so much for flooding. Yeah, it was yesterday, a belated birthday. Everyone flooding my timeline with some good wishes for me. Asked me what I was going to get him for his birthday.
I
What
was
have
going to jump on that. I saw your people. I was late to the party. Like, it was like 6 in the morning. I was ready, like women number 4 in line to fire that tweet, so I left it alone.
And also, while last year, you may recall, didn't he pull? He pulled his goalie with 11 minutes to go, down 3 to the Blues. So we're going to see some shenanigans if this Islanders team is down in this contest early. They come off that 5-4 overtime win over Boston. I personally wanted to see. Are they both named Ilya Samsonov and Sorokin? That's the matchup I was looking for, bro. That's the one I wanted to see.
Yeah, it'll be Hilly and Sorokin likely. Hilly, you like that?
Yeah.
Sorokin, do they call him Soroki? What do they call him? Illy? I don't know. Sorokin, he's 12-13-4, 2.92 and an 8.98. I mean, again, playing on the Islanders team, which you would think might be a little better defensively, but they just make it really tough to score. You can certainly crack that mold there. Varlamov, 3-4-3, 2.89, 8.89. I don't know anything about Marcus Hogberg, but he's 0-1-0 with a 1.93.948. I'm assuming those are mop-up rolls when he's been coming into the game, but who knows? Maybe Marcus Hogberg comes in, he winds up stealing the show. Other points, I mean, there's nothing that stands out, right? They played 40 games. Anders Lee, 32 points. Bo Horvat, 29 points. Palmieri, 26. Holmstrom, 22. Brock Nelson, 21. Like, there's nothing there that stands out. And you're like, oh, this is the difference maker. Betting line minus 180-ish for the Vegas Golden Knights. That's a little tighter than what I would have expected, and that might have something to do with how things look in locks of the night predictions for me. But feels like a trap game, right? Feels like a trap game. Beat the Sharks, who cares? You got the Rangers and you got the Wild coming to town this weekend. Two pretty big opponents, right? Your Rangers obviously are struggling a lot, but they're still a good
5 points
draw.
in 3 games. 5 points in 3
That's
games.
a step in the right direction.
They blew the game the other night. Okay,
they're still about to trade everybody, but whatever.
They're going to trade everyone while they're here.
Yeah, maybe Panarin become a Golden Knight over the weekend.
For Hutton, there we are.
For Hutton, there you go. Hutton in a fourth. So a couple big games over the weekend. The betting line is weird. It just there's the Golden Knights. They're going to go 1-1-1 in the next 3 games. How's it going to happen? I don't know.
Okay, who are they going to toy with this weekend? My Rangers. They're going to toy with someone.
Anybody,
you like that word?
They're playing hockey. They're playing hockey. Okay. They're playing hockey.
You know who always scores? Okay, you talked about Anders Lee. He'll have a goal tonight. He's going to be one of the players that I'm going to pick in locks of the night. Anders Lee always scores against VGK. Hey, check this out. Okay, so VGK winners of 9 of 10. And check this out. Did not realize this, but Jack Eichel is closing in on his career high for assists. He's just 12 assists away from 54. Is the match
have that by next week?
Well, yes. If he,
I say that joking because they got a lot. The Golden Knights got like 7 games between now and the end of next week, so he might have it by next week.
it very well could have that by the end of next week, and he's been unstoppable. If he would stop trying to play games and doing the Michigan stuff, all that.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because me and Chris, we were watching. I don't know which game it was. But we go back to that terrible game last year at Mullet Arena against the Coyotes when they gave up, I think, 6 in the third period or whatever that number, 5 in the third, whatever the number was when the Coyotes came back and just crushed the Golden Knights in that game.
You were there. That's right.
We were there, yeah, and I think I'm why there's no hockey in Arizona. That tweet damned him for life.
Oh my God, you killed him.
That tweet got like 700,000 views. I said they play hockey here. And I got dragged every which way.
They play hockey here. That was great. That was great.
Hockey here. Then boom, crushed.
Did you save the ticket stub? Maybe that's
everything's digital, bro.
Oh, they're trying to get hockey back in Arizona. How about that?
Okay. I mean, good luck.
All right.
So back to what I was saying was what the hell was I saying?
When you went to Arizona and
Arizona. Oh yeah. So little Chris pointed out. The Golden Knights, when they had like I don't know if it was a 4-1 lead, whatever it was, when they had what looked like a sizable lead in the game was in the bag, so to speak. He noticed the Golden Knights started kind of screwing around, and like you saw a couple like dangles between the legs and maybe some pretty passing instead of just trying to go direct to the net and stuff like that. And Chris made a comment like, "What are they doing?" And since that moment, Chris has made comments in games when the Golden Knights look like they have a lead and they kind of do start getting a little cutesy and stuff like that with the puck. So hopefully this isn't the time for that. You mentioned who they're going to toy with and things like that. And hopefully, I mean, I'm not saying Eichel doing in Michigan is a bad idea. I mean, if Eichel's pulling it off, I think it's because he thinks there's a legit chance where, the goalie's being a little bit sleepy. But for me, the Michigan, fine, but they got to make sure they're always direct to the nets and not doing the Paul Cotter scored another between the legs dangle goal in New Jersey. So the local media will hear about that for the next 2 months because Cotter will make sure everyone knows that he did that. It'll be on his Instagram and all that. So yeah.
VGK, we saw the other night, came back to life with the power play. Just one goal, but special teams they gave up two. So they're going to have
to practice the penalty kill.
It's so funny, though, because you could tell what they put the emphasis on in practice, and that typically works like magic, right, with Cassidy. But then areas that they let their guard down, not so good. And they have to – tonight they should have an easier time with this Islander team. Of course, you want to get on special teams, period, because I think, they might be able to score a shorthanded goal, especially if the Islanders are slow on the PK. And then, of course, the Islanders, it doesn't matter if they're on the power play or not.
Today, the Golden Knights will have a pregame skate, usually a little shorter in duration.
What are they going to work on? What are they going to work on today?
Nothing. Today, just general game stuff and, their set pieces.
After they listen to our podcast, what will they work on?
Well, tomorrow should be a regular practice day, I'm assuming, unless they take the Friday off because they got a back-to-back. But I think they'll have a practice tomorrow. I'll bet you penalty kill is the emphasis tomorrow.
PK. Okay. Coming up next, speaking of penalty kills, what are some of the biggest concerns of the second half of the season? Second half plus one game. We'll get to that. We opine next right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Gametime has a new feature, Gametime Picks, and it makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time going through thousands of tickets. And there are all sorts of great deals that you could always find. It is one of our favorite features is we like the Gametime Picks. That's something that I like. And on the app, you can go to customize your spot and supplemental information is there, and check it out, and you will be pleasantly surprised at what you can find there. Seat views before you buy, so you don't sit next to a juche there or anything else, a juchadone. And again, they have the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, which is really something that you must need today. All-in pricing is so good. If you toggle this feature, it shows you the total up front, and there are no surprise fees at checkout, and you must have this turned on to see everything that's there. And with the seat views, you get the panoramic view of everything going on around you. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets today. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Again, create an account, use the redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Mr. Golick, what time is it?
Gametime.
Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Friday, which is already tomorrow, which means it's match day for the Vegas Thrill. Our opener.
There we go. That's exciting.
Yeah, opener coming up. Much better team. My goodness, they are really good. And I think I told you, Randy Johnson's daughter is on the team. She made the team. She's the top star, Willow Johnson. Yeah.
So is Randy going to be there doing his photography and all that,
set up
and all that?
He will be. He's going to come out. And I said, does he need a press pass, or does he just want to sit like in the first row? And so we're going to give him, I think, both.
I remember we went to a Chicago Bears, Arizona Cardinals game like 8 years ago or something like that, maybe even longer, maybe 10 years ago. And we were in like their red zone area just hanging out before the game. And I see this big, tall tank of a dude just taking pictures. Everyone's kind of looking at him. And I'm like, it's Randy Johnson. Then him and Larry Fitzgerald shared a moment before the game. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be a super guy. A little quirky, as is his daughter. She's really she is edgy and she's fun. and
The
she can
angriest mullet in the history of baseball, I think. The Randy Johnsons.
not his daughter. No mullet, no mullet.
Does she have a mullet?
For Willow? No, she does not have a mullet. No,
Missed opportunity.
but we'll see him out there, and a lot of celebrities. I think Aiden O'Connell is coming out. Because
O'Connell loves the Raiders games. He's always there. He loves
the throw games. Yeah, the throw games.
I'm sorry, dang it. He likes the Raiders games too.
He likes the Raiders games. Hopefully, he'll stay as a starter or get a lot of playing time in the future. Okay, so where were we? Biggest concerns. Well, for me, I think at the top of the list is to stay injury free. Because they've been relatively healthy this entire season. I mean, all things considered, I think it's been a big factor. I hear some other concerns. Top six scoring, I think, needs to be consistent, and not just the top line. We've talked about this a ton of times here. Special teams, again, we just talked about it, but on the power play and on the PK, they need to be even keel in both of those categories. And they have to. We talked before about the 5 shorthanded goals, but again, that could be fool's gold. Who knows? I mean, just they need to play better and more consistently. They need to absolutely. We talked about this too. They need to secure some grit. I think by the trade deadline, they need to just have that person, that player that goes in front of the net. They need the net front presence consistently too. And those are just some of my notes on the napkin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, health, yes, and I'll double down by mentioning Jack Eichel first. When Eichel joined the Golden Knights, he played all 34 games that season, and even, 17 of them with a broken thumb, if I'm not mistaken. And then 67 and 63 games after that.
I'm not going to go to any VGK games this year. And
you're going to jinx someone? Yeah, I got you.
Well, because I went to that game where Eichel broke his thumb.
Yeah, but he came back and didn't miss any time, so who cares? And he couldn't take faceoffs, which actually is probably a net win.
And Vegas Bjorn had an empty net goal, and I almost kicked someone in the upstairs in Hyde.
It's pretty awesome. Go to Hyde for drinks and intermission. They're cheaper than the concourse, by the way. A little nugget for those that don't know. Most of you probably do know because you're locals that watch this. 67 and 63 games the last 2 seasons, played all 40 so far. So if we're looking from a historical perspective, there might be an injury coming for Eichel. We hope not, but if Eichel were to go down, that would seriously derail what's happening with the Vegas Golden Knights. You can say the same thing about Mark Stone, although Mark Stone was injured for a while and there was not as much concern as far as there was concern, but the results were there. What gets me right now, again, I go back to this tweet I put out there. It's now January the 9th, and Tanner Pearson is a top line forward, and Kolesar is a second line forward. And oh, by the way, third line center Brett Howden is the co-team leader in goals scored. Okay, fine. This is a regular season, and it's going very, very well. In the postseason, and again, there's injuries now. You hope these injuries are going to get better in a few minutes, and in a little bit here. But if the Golden Knights do go into the postseason like this, it would be a much different story. Tanner Pearson is a top line forward, no. Keegan Kolesar being the second line right winger, no. Not having Nicholas Waugh, Ivan Barbashev, those would be grave concerns. So ultimately, depth is a concern here. And I'm with you, Tony. I think 2 moves will get made. I will start by going to your move. An energy type of physical presence. Kolesar is not that person right now. He's playing a second line right wing role, so he needs to not be that person. He needs to go out there and do his best to score goals and muck it up a little bit. But Kolesar's the second line right winger, now third line right winger. The third line right winger is not the protector of the team, So we'll see how that ends up shaking out. And then they need another scorer. I think they need to address what's happening on the wing right now. Alex Holtz is the reserve, right? Alex Holtz, he's on the fourth line right now. He's the reserve if, some players in the top 6 start suffering injuries, and that's a concern right now. And I think McCrimmon will address both of those. I don't know about the grit side of it, although I would like him to address the grit side of it, but I definitely think there's going to be 1 or 2 trades that are going to shake up the landscape in the next, 20, 30, next 37 days or so.
Yeah, and this is a team, too, that does not need to get complacent. That could set in if they're just beating the brakes off of
Too many
everyone.
leaders. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see that happening.
And then this fourth line is what about is there a fourth line?
It's
just
the milk carton line.
it's so bad. It's so bad right now, and they're still winning consistently. They're winning games. A lot's going to change when they finally hit the road. Their next 3 road games, I think, are against San Jose. I think they go back to San Jose.
Nashville, Carolina, Chicago. So you got a tough one in the middle and a couple of strange ones there, but
that's right. They're done with San Jose. So
they're
I
done
think
with
they'll
San
have
Jose.
3 more road games somewhere between a 30-day home stint in Anaheim. They'll go to Anaheim.
I mean, I'll say the schedule is a bit of a concern right now.
It's a major concern.
From January from
it's
today.
Second easiest. Remember, Tampa number 1 from the start of the new year to the end of the season. Second easiest schedule.
Strength of schedule is irrelevant. There's 8 Stanley Cup contenders. There's 24 teams who are not winning a Stanley Cup. So sure, maybe Tampa's got the whatever, however you rated it, but I wonder how far apart the ratings are from number 1 to number 7, from 8 to 12. Like, I don't know how they measure that, but I'm assuming it's pretty close, because this is just a weird season where you feel like there's 8 teams these are your cup contenders, and then the other teams don't have a shot. I'll put together one of those boards where it's cup contenders and no shot or whatever, like all the cool people are doing. But I will say the schedule in general is a concern because of the frequency of games. And how about the Four Nations being a concern? They're going to come back. They're going to be gassed right after that. Start betting against VGK, folks, because they're going to ride. They're going to ride Aiden Hill. He's going to be beaten down. Let's just doom and gloom for a second. Aiden Hill and Mark Stone both get hurt out there. Jack Eichel gets hurt out there. 2 or 3 of those guys get hurt out there. How, everyone's all happy about the Four Nations, including the VGK front office, apparently, which is the stupidest thing in the world. I'll still go back to saying parading Aiden Hill as a tryout for the Four Nations was one of the stupidest things I've seen.
It's one of the dumbest things ever of all time. Time.
It could be.
And they admit that they had tryouts for him.
They did, and Cassidy had one of those SHIT grins when they were talking about it.
Yeah.
So the Four Nations bothers me.
HITS. Hits?
No, SHITS.
Oh, okay.
I'm very clear about what
Family
I said.
Family show.
That's why I spelled it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, again, I'm not trying to be negative here, but the Four Nations face-off is a concern and something that could derail this team. And not just the Vegas Golden Knights. To be fair, there are a lot of teams that do have representation, like the Florida Panthers, I think, have the most players, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, Toronto's pretty loaded up. Montreal, Sam Montembeault, there you go. So, we'll see how that shakes out. But hey, who's going to be healthy if it does go all the way? Logan Thompson, because he didn't make the Four Nations. Shout out to Logan. He had a great game against Vancouver last night.
It's going to be interesting. Well, 2 things are going to occur, right? So you have the aftermath of the Four Nations after Canada beats the snot out of everyone, because that's how they built it, and everyone will tell you that they're going to win.
We'll see. I don't know, Tony.
Who even cares? Do you really care? I don't care. It's like they're making it like something that we should have national pride about. I don't care about the stinking Four Nations. So you have that, and that's on the heels of the trade deadline. So a lot of activity like right after that. What is the trade deadline? Around March the 9th, somewhere in there? Again, typically.
Probably Friday, March the 7th, if I had
the 7th. Ah, man. I was off a couple of days. Just like we were with our mid-season review.
And the Golden Knights will be in the middle of a 5-game homestand during that trade deadline. So, so McCrimmon can work from the office. And
come on.
Chicago, New Jersey, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles.
Oh, my goodness.
Homestead.
I seriously thought
each of the visitors play a back-to-back the night before in Utah also.
I seriously thought that the Colorado, you got me good. I seriously thought the Colorado Avalanche were the best team, or coming on like very strong here in the West. And then they lose to your Blackhawks, so that wasn't very good.
No,
so a little
Edmonton's hot as of late. They're like 7-2-1 or something like that, and they're getting
pretty hot.
A lot of pubs. So
then we knew that they would be back in the picture, and I still say they're going to win this division. I still do, because I think things will even out. There's so many different things that could happen with VGK here down the stretch.
It's gonna be Vegas and LA down the stretch for the
you
division.
Think so?
But Vegas, I think Vegas will hold on as long as all these concerns don't come true, which obviously is what we're hoping for. But
are they going to tank?
They're going to happen.
Will they tank in the final game again so that they don't have to play a certain team?
Maybe they'll take in the final. Maybe they'll tank against Cal. Insert pause. Gary and Vancouver, just so they don't win the President's Trophy, but so they still win the West.
Very good possibility.
No, I
Coming
still
up,
say it again. Give the finger to the President's Trophy. Win the President's Trophy. Win the cup. Sweep the board. Win them all.
coming up next, our locks of the night and our predictions, and no more swear words. You have to put money, even though you spelled it out into the swear jar, colleague. Back with more right after this on Locked On Golden Knights. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. In the FanDuel app, it gives you everything that you need for live bets, and they have the same game parlays. There's so much more. Make sure that you visit the website. And of course, we just gave you the betting line courtesy of FanDuel, minus 180 on the hockey side for VGK. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. Get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable. That's what you are with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. I was going to start singing Unforgettable.
I was wondering that. I felt like that was a song there.
It was. The Nat King Cole song. I just threw that in there. Sometimes you just have to ad lib so you don't get complacency.
You found my weak spot. I can't match you blow for blow on Nat King Cole songs.
Okay. Locks of the night. Anders Lee is definitely lock of the night. He's going to score. I have this crazy feeling. Okay, so I woke up this morning and I just started chanting Cole Schwint, Cole Schwint, Cole Schwint. He's going to break through. He's going to have a big goal and one of two empty net goals for VGK in a 5-3 victory.
Who's got the other empty net goal?
Colasar, probably, because that's who I'm going to pick. So make sure you put ENGs in there.
So they're putting both empty netters for Schwinn and Colasar.
You notice that they're keeping the IKEA guy off the ice when there's empty net situation. He did have an assist. Oh, I want to do a comparison. One of these shows where we definitely have to compare Marchessault versus Vegas Bjorn, because Marchessault is just crushing him in points right now.
No. If you don't acknowledge positivity around Jonathan Marchessault, whatever you do.
Okay, so again, I've got three tonight: Anders Lee, Cole Schwint, and Keegan Colasar. Two ENGs, 5-3, Vegas Golden Knights. People hate it when I pick the local team.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, so I said in the first segment, I think Vegas is going 1-1-1 in the next three games. Not a knock on the Golden Knights by any means. Playing extremely well, but the streak just can't go on forever. There's going to be a game or two where it's just not going to work out. And the Islanders are I think one of those opponents where it's not going to work out. Islanders have had some wins in this building against the Vegas Golden Knights in the regular season. And I think tonight with the practice time and everything, I think tonight's that night. So I'm going 3-2 Islanders, regulation loss for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Islanders. They only play 40 minutes. What are you doing? Tonight. Okay,
because they're not as much as we would like to be like the American public and the VGK fan base and assume they're going 82-0. That's not going to happen. So there's going to be a game. This is that weird game tonight. It's got trap written all over it. Minus 180. That line's way too tight as well. Over under a 6, not 6.5, which suggests a little lighter scoring game as well. So 3-2 Islanders, and I'm going to go with Holtz. I don't know why, but I'm going to go with Holtz. I wrote his name down. And Olofsson to come back with another power play goal.
Okay. Did you see? So if they cannot play that game, the Rams game against Minnesota in LA, they're not going to move it to Vegas. They're going to move it to Glendale, Arizona. And I don't understand that. So I have to go back to 1990.
Who are the Rams playing? Rams, who did you say?
Vikings. And then
why would you rather come to Vegas unless Allegiant's probably too expensive, Tony, to be honest with you.
It might be booked. It could be booked because they do get a lot of business there, maybe. But that would have been the logical move. I just want to go back to 1992 when they had the riots in LA, the Rodney King riots,
Right.
and they moved a Laker playoff game against Portland to where? The Thomas and Mack Center. It was here.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I wish I kept that ticket stub. So, yeah, that was pretty interesting. They moved it here because of the riots in Southern California, in LA. So,
do the Kings have any more? Are they on the road or
I don't know where they go, but yeah, that was tough. And the Vikings have to go to LA to practice, right? With all the smoke and everything. So the smoke is so bad. And in LA, they said
practicing inside somewhere, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. It's sort of inside-ish there at SoFi because it has some
right.
openings.
It's not an indoor stadium. It's not.
It's
I
not
think it's
indoor.
actually classified as an outdoor stadium. As weird as that sounds.
Right. And speaking of outdoor stadiums, since we are going to go over by about 100 minutes today,
that's fair.
What the Thursday? Why is the NHL playing the outdoor game January 2nd of 2026 in Florida, in Miami?
Yeah, outdoor
Rangers
games
in Florida.
There might be a hurricane. There might be a tornado. There might be 60 degrees.
And they learn from what happened here in Vegas when they played the outdoor game at Caesar's Palace, the preseason.
I mean, the technology is there.
The ice was melted. It was the grasshopper invasion.
The bugs. Yep, the bugs on the ice. Yep.
It was the grasshopper invasion. I told you, they let us go out on the ice. We walked around on the ice the day before, checked it out, and it was a little slushy.
The players, they'll be if the ice is extremely soft, they'll be out there with a 1-inch cut, just with a square blade with no
seriously,
how do
you control that?
The technology is there, Tony. They have the technology to have the ice as good as possible.
Why do the Golden Knights indoors always have bad ice?
We haven't had to use this year. T-Mobile's been pretty good this year.
They haven't had to use that excuse this year. They have not.
They're winning, Tony. You're not going to hear a lot of excuses from winning team. Let's be realistic here. Maybe tonight the goal. Okay. Tonight the Golden Knights fall 3-2 courtesy of bad ice. There you go, Tony.
Bad ice. Make sure you put that in our predictions too.
Yeah, I'm picking Holtz, Olofsson, and bad ice as my locks of the night.
We appreciate everyone tuning in. This isn't even WTF. We've been on
I got a good one for tomorrow. I got a good one. I don't forget.
Was that yesterday's show where I said, okay, we thank everyone for tuning in, and then we had like 10 other things that we had to mention.
We're on pace right now for that.
We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much. Of course, make sure that you check us out tomorrow. Leave your comments for WTF. They are so entertaining. Please rip Golick for once, man. That's my New Year's resolution.
People are giving me crap because I'm mad about the Anaheim Ducks and their contract they gave to Vetrano and all that. So,
all right.
Was it Vetrano or was it?
Yeah, it was Vetrano, I believe. Yeah.
So people are mad at me about my perspective of that. So early spoiler for WTF.
Sometimes, of course, we do have that Golick and Golick Chris times Chris show, the YouTube exclusive. Please come out of retirement with that. A lot of fans have been asking for that.
People have been asking. We should.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe we should do like during the week randomly or something. I don't know.
Or just maybe shoot it outside with little Chris and the stick that goes over his head and show people. You can have like a show.
He loves that stick. He loves that stick. He's got all the confidence in the world, man.
That's great. Of course, for my man Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco. We need to wrap this baby up.
Let's go home.
We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Lockdown Golden Knights. And please be safe in Southern California. Please be safe there. And please take care.